Welcome to another episode of the People, Passion, and Purpose podcast. And this time we've also extended our conversations beyond borders. So we have my friend from Oman. So we both are coaches, we both are poets. And I think there are very interesting stories as well that we have to share. So welcome, Yusuf, to this amazing conversation.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and it is my pleasure to be here today. I'm looking forward to hearing
Absolutely,
from
sir.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So these are very interesting things now that we're part of a networking organization. Your the conversation with you has been a series of chances that I have taken, and I think you also taken with this. So sometimes the power of possibilities leads us to meet fascinating people, and listening to you and talking to you that day, it felt like you're a brother from another mother in another country, right? So I
wow.
thought it should be that we have a podcast together. So, and I think my first favorite question is, what's your favorite childhood memory that you would like to relive?
My favorite childhood memory is when we had a new home, and I was very excited to relocate there. It was a little far away from my hometown called Baramati. I come from a small town, which is a very tranquil, lush green place and very nice place in Maharashtra. So climate and weather-wise, it is very good. When we were supposed to go there, the excitement was very huge because there was a lot of space for me to play in the sand, and I've grown up playing in the sand and playing outside on the ground. So it was kind of very connecting back to the roots. So when we went there in our home, new home, that is the best memory that I have of living there, uh, around the greenery, around the grassroots level, like in our home, in the space that I wanted to see myself in. So that is the best memory that I have from my childhood. That is what I would say. There are a lot of other memories though, but this is the
No,
one.
we can you can say the best plus plus, best minus one. So it's a podcast. The more stories, the better it is. So it sort of also reminds me of also growing up in the 90s, right? So people everywhere, lots of conversation, no television, no phones,
Yeah,
just
that's true.
massive open areas. Just play with whoever is there, make new friends. Just enjoy life as is, and good food. Absolutely great food.
Yeah,
Wherever you
true.
go, however you want to eat it, nobody used to say junk food. Don't eat this. Don't eat that.
I have one more very good memory that the old house that we were living in, we had a chawl kind of a system. Okay, and in those times, TVs were not there in our home. So what used to happen is that the chawl people used to collaborate together, and they used to hire DVD and TV, and they used to set up in the chawl area. There was a nice place in the center of the chawl to sit for everyone. They used to bring their mats, sit there in the night time. It was very cooling. See below the stars, and they used to chat
Wow.
along. They used to watch a movie together, have fun time. And whenever we want to go, we used to go. Whenever we want to come, we used to come back, and the movie used to keep on running. So it was kind of a moment of spending time with the family, like a larger family of the people around you.
Absolutely,
It
absolutely.
was
No, I
such a
think
wonderful time that I had. I remember a lot of things. Playing the games that we played, like Gilli Danda and pelting those stones. And then there were
very
like a lot of amazing hide and seek. And those were amazing games that I have gone through. And I see that this generation is completely missing out on those games now.
completely. I think to them we sound like how our fathers and our forefathers sounded to us, saying, "Oh, our opening conversation in our younger days is what we start off with." Typically, how my parents were starting off. And they were telling me saying we had XYZ, like we had hundreds of games and we had possibly a cricket football match, right? So that those were things. And when I see my cousins, I tell them we had cricket, we were playing in the road, etc. etc. These guys are on the phone, like on the thumb, trying to, they're thumb warriors right now. So
Yes.
it was a very different ball game at that point of time. Absolutely fascinating to relive those moments and to see, oh, wow,
Right.
that's there. And the people, the conversations, the quality of life, um, always fascinating. Always
Yeah, it
fascinating.
was.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are also a poet. You are also a writer. So how did that journey begin? And Also, if you were to introduce yourself to the world, I think this is the first question. If you were to introduce yourself to the world through this podcast, how would you do it? What would you say? What stories? It's an open forum. How much you want to talk for 10 minutes? Talk for it.
Right. My journey started from that I told you that I come from a small town called Baramati. Though I am currently living in Muscat, Oman, a beautiful city, which is from last 24 years I am here with my family. And when I was growing up in Baramati, I had my childhood there. A lot of good memories that I'm reliving them now in my life. But when I was growing up, I had a lot of difficulties while growing up. I lost my mother when I was 7, and my life became a little difficult when I got a stepmother. But it was for good learning in my life. A lot of things happened during that time that I had a fear that whomever I love, they leave and go. And I had fear that I used to be bullied in school. So I thought that maybe I am ugly. So I was not even able to smile in front of camera. So those kind of fears I was living with. But after 10th, even my education was stopped. And I had a big question mark in my life, like what am I going to do about my life? And I had to work in Mumbai, in Pune, even doing two jobs at a time. And life was like hell. At some time point of time, I wanted to end my life. I was very good in academics. I used to write even accounts when I was in Mumbai for my uncle. And everyone who saw my handwriting and all, they used to be fascinated. Like, Yusuf, is this your writing? And I used to tell that, yeah, it is my handwriting. So they used to be like, they used to have that question mark on the face that what I was doing there, actually. But it was my destiny. I didn't knew what I was doing exactly. I wanted to end my life. But opportunities came in. I had opportunity to do external education afterwards and got an opportunity to come back to Oman. It's not come back, sorry. I got an opportunity to come to Oman where my uncle set up business here in 2001. He called me here. So that is the time I came here in Oman. And Oman is very, very peaceful country, I must say you. It is so peace-loving country that I tell that it is like kind of a peace black hole. So whoever comes here, he finds their peace and they just get stuck there in their life. They are not moving ahead because that peace is very, very dominating in life. So that's what happened with me. I kept on working for 11, 12 years, doing nothing about my life, always saturated on my phone calls with customers, doing business, no time for my family. Between I got married with a beautiful wife whose name is Farida. And I have two lovely daughters now. One is Maria and one is Nafisa. So they are very encouraging and supportive. So life was like living with too much pressure at that time. I used to have a lifestyle of like say eating night 11 o'clock dinner, 10:30 dinner, little sleep, waking up again, going for work, too much busy, no time for family. So it was all like building up. And it was awakening call when the lockdown came. So
Hmm.
during the lockdown, one very interesting story happened in my life. My wife asked me during the second day of the lockdown of one very important question in my life. That Yusuf, now what are you going to do about your life? I had absolutely no clue. I told her that I have no clue what I'm going to do. She told me that, Yusuf, do you remember that you've always told me that when you were in school, when you had lost your mother, you started writing poetry and all this stuff. I told her yes. She told me that why don't you start writing again? So I told her that Farida, I write poetry and letters, and who is going to read this all this stuff now? World has changed. She told me that Yusuf, you're wrong. The world has changed, and people want to go back to the roots, and they read all this stuff. So I said that I have nothing to lose. Let me give it a try. Let me start writing again. And that journey changed everything in my life. Once I started writing again, I ended up publishing my first book, a book that starts from the center of your heart, mind, and soul. I became published author, which was my dream when I was small. Lot of dreams that I had, one came, I realized it, and it gave me tears in my eyes. And that is the journey that I started. I thought to myself that I must empower people around me to start seeing their dreams again. So with that empowerment, I saw advertisement of Arfin Khan, who is a very big celebrated life coach. Okay, he's UK based, but he is now focused in India. So his event was happening for 2 days, and I said that let me connect. I don't have anything else to do. So during the lockdown, I connected in his event, and I saw the what is it about becoming a life coach, and it felt very connecting. I said that to transform lives of people is a very noble profession, and I can connect hearts of people. That is such a wonderful thing to do, actually. And it exactly complemented the thought process we poets have inside us. A beauty of the words that we have with us. I wanted to leverage on that. So I went ahead, I became a life coach, and today I am franchisee holder in Oman of Arfin Khan systems and tools and techniques of coaching. And my journey started from there, all thanks to my wife. Today I'm coaching people from across the globe, and journey has been incredible and phenomenal to say the least. With each and every transformation that I do, I see transformation in myself. So that is the kind of journey that I'm living in now, and I am very happy with this. So this is about me, what I do, and that book gave me the power to see my dreams clearly. And you asked me one question that when I started writing,
Mm-hmm.
I started writing when I lost my mother when I was 7 or 8 years old. I don't remember the exact age, but I pretty much used to what I used to do was that I used to be told to study by my stepmother. She used to put me in one room, and I knew everything, and my studies were already completed, so I had nothing else to do but just to pretend that I'm studying. So what I used to do is that during that time I used to take another book and I used to scribble words. When I used to do that, I used to be fascinated with power of words, how beautiful sentences can be formed, and that gave me the flow of thoughts. And I used to write, ended up publishing some of them in my school magazine, and that was about it. I wrote a lot of stuff which was in my diary, which is still with me, but nothing published yet from those times. So that is about me and how I
Oh,
started writing.
wow, wow, absolutely. So, what's your favorite book that you've read so far?
There are a lot of, but Connecting the Dots was one of them that I was very fascinated with. It is amazing book. I'll recommend everyone to read it. Connect the Dots, and it is a wonderful book actually. It helped me like understand a lot of things about life. So there are a lot of other books that I have read. Yeah.
I think it's fantastic listening to you. I think the passion with which you shared. I also that vulnerability which you shared, saying, "Hey, I started when I did start. So after losing a mom, uh, experiencing another person also coming into your life, your stepmom, the transitions that could have happened, moving to another uh, city, moving to another country, and possibly after many many years." COVID changed a lot of people's lives, so it did change yours. And then
Yeah.
with that, also entering into a space where transformation happens on a daily basis. Transformation happens inside for us as coaches, and transformation happens inside our clients' hearts, minds, and souls. It's a beautiful journey, Yusuf. I very very happy that you chose that career, and there's an additional plus there because both of us are coaches, both of us are authors,
I'm so
both
happy
of
that
us.
I connected with you actually.
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
level of insight that I got when I connected with you last time was amazing actually. I really must say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you said one thing about the book that I have still been holding on to, that your book opens up from the center of the book. I want you
Yes,
to share
I'll show
that with
you.
the authors.
So this is the book. It was published by
Lovely.
His Excellency Indramani Pandeji, who is permanent representative of UN from India, and it was on his hands that this book was published.
Beautiful.
And the book is like themed, and it has got literally it starts from the center. It starts like this. The book that
Wow.
starts from the center of from center of your heart, mind, and soul. It has got two
Beautiful.
indexes. One is on the right side, and one is on the left side. I have bifurcated according to the themed selections of poems and letters that I write. And this is like a lot of ways that I write. I have bifurcated them, even the poems that resonate love, abstract poems, poems that are on nature. And I like to think about a lot of things. My letters are on a different traction altogether. I write to non-living things.
Wow,
So yeah,
interesting.
so I like putting life in them. So that those are the letters that I write, and they're very small. My writing style is that I write small stuff. I don't write very long and lengthy poetry. As seen yours also, almost similar. Yeah,
Yeah, and my
those were
patience
really
level
good.
goes down after about 20 lines saying, close the poem. Nobody else is going to read it now after
Absolutely.
20. Would you like to read, Yusuf, one or two of your poems? I am very curious to read. So, any page randomly just pick it up. I'm sure it's not random,
Let me
but
read one letter.
sure.
Okay. Dear feet, liberating is how I feel with you. Innumerable steps, innumerable pleasures, innumerable achievements, all possible just because of you. I now realize how beautiful it feels when my sweet little daughter took her first steps. It made my eyes moist with happiness, and I understood how my parents would have felt when I too had your blessings to stand up for the first time. So many places you have taken me to. Now don't tell me I took you because I can only desire to. You give them wings. It is a collab like no other. I really mean it. Just look at me. My body has many parts, but you rule the southern hemisphere. Yes, it's only you there, and you truly deserve it. This world seems only smaller by the day with you. I don't need to be a bird to fly. You are just that awesome.
Wow, that is beautiful. Now I'm still at that place where you said, your daughter's feet, and then also you transported back to how your parents would have possibly felt.
Right.
That's a whole circle of life in those two lines itself. That's beautiful.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful. Well, this
I'll read
reminds me
one.
of a
Yeah,
please,
tell me.
please, please. That reminds me of a poem I wrote around when you said non-living things. The first thing that I think about, I don't have it in my hand yet, but one of the poems I'd written about was how's it to feel as terraces, right? The top of your terrace.
Wow,
And you're
beautiful.
basically bombarded by rain, and sometimes you're also bombarded by a lot of sparrows, eagles, and this thing, all thing dropping it on you. So, of the two lines that I remember actually are on those things, saying to look at the sky at all points of time, and also to be kamikazed by bird droppings of all sizes and shapes. So those are two
Good.
lines. So that's what I heard. But you go on, and I love to read more of yours.
One poetry that you spoke about rain, and I'll tell you one poetry that I had written about rain. One
Sure.
very simple poem. This rain has brought immense memories today. I have been missing all those lovely days. Why it has to be this way. How rains can be nostalgic and soulful at the same. It always makes me feel your presence. I wake up to a deep feeling of being drowned again in your charming smile, rhythmic beats, and heart-warming laughter. We would sit beneath canopy watching droplets come to life, gathering on warm soil and making merry. We both entrenched in our rain of love and feeling ecstatic. You may not be here today, but I know and I'm happy that we still love more each passing day. Soon we will be together again, watching this beautiful rain. That
Oh,
is.
beautiful,
Thank
beautiful.
you.
So who was this for?
My wife, absolutely.
Uh, so I keep getting asked. So my poem numbers have gone beyond 7,000, right? So I think
Wow.
around 2,500 have been about poems where her is the protagonist or she is the protagonist. And I keep getting asked saying who the muse is, and I have the privilege to say I haven't found her yet, or it is for Her, and as and when she comes along into my life, I will not be then allowed to write all of that. So until then, I'm free to write.
Now you can take inspiration from me. Even if she's coming in your life, it will be more exciting, more lovable. I pray for
But
that.
then, no, that is for sure. But then, I don't know if I am going to be, in a space where I'd be happy to write poems to the rest of the world. For her, for sure. But to the rest of the world to show them off, that may not be a space. So that's when I realized that there's a space that's so private in my heart for somebody coming in, that
Wow.
my poems are also for her, and something that I've given to the rest of the world as saying, this is what comes to me, I want to give it back to you. There's one place where there's very, very private space to say that's only for you, and like for your eyes only, right? So that kind of stuff. So yeah, and it's
Why don't you
it's
read one of yours? Actually, I would love to
mine.
listen to you
Mine. Oh my God. So you put me on a spot there. Mm.
from your
Mm.
mobile, maybe.
Yeah, all of them are on my phone.
And you're a
Uh,
spontaneous writer too.
yeah. No, yeah, I spontaneously write.
You
I
said that you wrote
spontaneously write.
108 poems in a day, right? That
Yes.
was an amazing thing to achieve,
That
actually.
was fantastic. I think if I had have planned it a little better, I could have planned, done it an entire day in one. So the plan was 108 in the same day, or 100 in the same day, and it so happened it became 35 for the first day. And then I remember calling my friend and be like, "Oh, it's only 35. You know what? You thought of making it
Only
100." Uh, and yeah, she also said the same thing. Only 35, and she said, "Okay, take how many ever days you want, finish 100." And I said, day two, 45. So we both finished 80, then 100. So, and then I wanted to stop it at 108. So 108 happened in 3 days. So that book is called Born in 3 Days. So,
born in 3 days. Wow.
yeah. So,
Lovely.
and this one is the latest poem I've written. So, this one's like terraces, balconies are my favorite places too. So, balcony is my favorite place. It gives me a
Even
vantage
mine too.
point.
Sorry. I'll
And
come to that later after I listen to
so
you.
there's a story there. So balcony is my favorite place. It gives me a vantage point to the entire city. The
Mhm.
entire city that is now running, but the balcony offer me a pause, a sense of stability, quietness, and just silence. The balcony is my favorite place because it reminds me of you. The
Wow.
moments in silence spent just simply existing, staring at oblivion and sometimes at each other. The deep understanding of each other's energies and synergies. The moments spent breathing in each other's company. The warmth, the emotions, the memories. Everything about you comes back flooding as soon as I hit the balcony. It's as if I open the portal to you and I can access all your vibes, even in your absence. I
Wow.
love the balcony just a little bit more when you are around. When you are
Wow.
around.
Amazing. Lovely. Very, very romantic, by the way.
So whoever is it that is listening, if you want to be that she in my life, please drop me a message.
Are you sure it's
And
still not been taken?
it's not been taken. The seat is open. So the deal is when at least the manifested it. I've told it to the universe so many times that I said I'll get married when the Royal Challengers Bangalore finally accept the IPL as the final cup comes to them. So Isala Cup Namde happens, and I keep saying that's about it. So it's like the universe is also waiting, saying you will find her when RCB actually finally lifts it. The women's team did it. So
You're pretty much sure about that, huh?
no, I think I've told it so many times that I'm like, okay, it has to manifest like that. And
Come on,
and so
you're
the
a
thing is
coach.
now the women have won it. So in case I do get married, so I can always fall back and say, you know what, the women won it, so it's okay.
That's a
Uh,
lovely one.
that's how we deal with uncertainties in life, and all the fantastic and wonderful things that happen. So you said you have a story on balconies. So I'm happy. Just want to hear that.
Actually, my balcony is very good. It is glass covered balcony. And
Wow.
when I see across, there is like a road that is going there. There is a bridge flyover and street lights, nighttime. I can see through and through. Like it's amazing
Wow.
feeling to see it going winding down towards the mountains. And on the opposite side, I have even mountain range, which is
Mm.
just there, and it looks so fascinating that when I came here first, I used to imagine what is there on the other side, but now I much know there is a road again going across from that mountain and coming down again towards my home. So it is such a beautiful, and there is sea
Wow.
besides those mountains. So it looks amazing from my balcony, and I always get inspired to write a lot of stuff from there.
Oh,
So even that is
absolutely.
an
Yeah.
inspiration.
And,
Yeah,
and
even
even when
I
you
have written a letter to my balcony also.
and I'm sure I want to. So we can actually sit down and do a next podcast and get a few other poets into the frame and be like, let's record this and then take it from there because it could lead to very interesting conversations because poets are interesting people. So uh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So maybe just changing the gear a little bit. You said you had a story around balconies and stuff. So is there a story around funny things that have happened in life? So I've asked this question to another few podcasts and I've got some fantastic answers. So I just want to experiment with the question again.
Something funny.
Something funny. So as
A
soon
lot of
as you hear
things.
funny, what's the first story that comes to you? I will
The
tell you
most
mine.
funny
So
thing is
set.
that when I wanted to actually, when I went to meet my wife, actually, when we were not married, first time when we met, actually, we were not destined to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we were destined, but we didn't think that we have that kind of connection in the first moment when we met. Okay, the way she wanted to meet me, she had no idea. She thought that she'll be rejecting me. But when we sat across and we had that lovely conversation, completely things changed. So we always have a laugh when we are having this conversation. She told me that you trapped me. I tell her that you trapped me. Okay, so this is the always the conversation that we have. We always laugh about it, and I tell her that your father trapped me. You trapped me. She's telling me that you trapped me. You came from Muscat. I didn't wanted to marry you, but you trapped me in your sweet conversation. So I we this is the one conversation that I always remember that I have with her. So very
Um,
lovely conversation that I have with her this about this.
no, that is also in its own ways so sweet and so romantic in that first place. So I have when I access funny memories. When I was a kid, I had actually, told my mom that I'll go to my friend's house. We did not have cable at our house at that point. So I, I'm a fan of cricket matches. It was that match where Rahul Dravid and Lakshman had that huge partnership, right? So the greatest
Ah,
partnership
yeah.
that you'll find. We were, following on. We had Australia coming in, and so I see it on a random neighbor's balcony that they are actually watching cricket. I asked them, Uncle, can I sit with you while you watch this thing? So uh, I sit there. My mom's called all of my friends. They said Sunil left 2 hours, 3 hours ago. She's been frantically running around every other house saying, Sunil, in your house, in your house, in your house. This follows for a long time. And the match ends at 4:30, and I magically appear at 4:30 saying, "You know what? That was the best partnership there is." And I get verbally thrashed right, left, center because where the hell were you so much of time? So
Gosh,
we were
I can
about
able
to
to
call the
imagine.
police. We were about to call the police and say, my son's gone missing. So that was the scene that had happened, and nobody in my friend circle even had a random inkling that I'd be at this particular person's house watching cricket. So
Wow.
yeah, it was the most interesting thing, and every time I used to meet
So,
that elderly gentleman, I used to say because of you, I almost got really whacked big time. So um, but people at home were like verbally only bashing me, not physically. So it somehow was absolutely fine. But that's a funny incident from my childhood catalog that finds presence today.
Right. Good. A lot of other childhood memories are also there. Like a lot of things happened even in my childhood. A lot of funny
Yes.
moments. We used to be very, very scared with a principal in my school. His name was very, like, kind of, you say that commands respect. T.T. Burrows. Okay, and that name has got so much fascination in it, right? So whenever we used to, tall, structured, like a very like good person, and he was amazing person to say the least. We lost him a few years back, anyways. But we had a lot of respect for him. Whenever he used to call in his office, we used to shiver because he
Mm.
had that big stick and he used to whack. So we knew that if he has called us there in his office, there must be something for us.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think that like schools open up an entire plethora of stories, right? So one of the stories I remember was in our geography exam in standard 9. So they had actually asked us to map everything on a map. And then we being fantastic students, some of us had taken actually additional maps. So additional sheets, not additional maps. In two different maps to have marked it two differently. And then my teacher had actually given marks for both the maps and oversight or whatever. So
You,
my total for an 80 mark exam is coming 82, and
wow.
she's put it at 78 or 79 or something. If I have to go and ask for one more mark, I have to somewhere say, I've written this thing. So it was one of those spaces where, I am like, if I go and
Tight
tell,
spot.
I'm going to lose 4 marks. So I don't tell, then I'm like, oh, it's almost a perfect paper, 80 on 80. So
Wow.
it was a very difficult thing to then, let it go saying it's okay, 79 chalta hai.
Such a
And
tight spot, huh, for you.
tight spot, and no, like, apart from me and my best friend, nobody else knew that this is the scam that had happened. Because if we expose it and
Your teacher knew that.
my teacher, like she did, I don't think so. Maybe she knew or she chose to ignore that. I don't know for you until now.
When
I
she
never
did the
went and asked.
counting, she must be like, no, no, 80 होगा लेकिन चलो 79 दे देती हूँ. 82 कैसे हो सकता है?
82 कैसे हो सकता है? So it's like it was one of those very very interesting stuff. So schools have always been fun. So I had got my friend to an exam that I believe was at 9:30. I got him ready at 7:30, and we were in the school at 7:45. The exam started at 2:30. So for until 1:45 in the afternoon, we were the only two bloody buggers in the entire school. And we were
Doing what?
damn hungry at 1:30, and I was like, I don't even want to write the exam. I want to just go because nothing in the morning, nothing in the afternoon. That fellow still remembers and curses me for that, saying because of you, I was not able to write that exam
Those curses
with a
have
full
turned into
stomach.
blessing for you now.
Huh. And then after that, like somehow I managed to get hold of one school teacher who was my teacher 3 or 4 years back. Convinced her, saying we don't have money to eat something. She got us a packet of curd rice, which we had to share in between me and my other friend. And so somehow we managed to write the exam, clear the exam, come home, eat to our heart's content, and and many of them didn't know that we'd actually come there at 7:30 in the morning. So everybody thought we were earlier than everybody else, but nobody knew what time exactly. So all of these have been fun memories.
Lovely.
So
So good to just remember all those memories.
absolutely, sir, absolutely. So you are sharing about transformations. We are also on the same topic of looking back at our childhood, looking at ourselves now. You said you had a transition, you had a personal transformation, and I think you also spoke about mm, you are possibly one of those silent kids, and now you have so much to share. So how do you see your own transformation happen? And any favorite transformation that you've had now that you entered coaching?
Yeah, like a lot of things that I can talk about transformations about my clients that I have given them. And there are a lot of testimonials that I get from my clients. Some of them are really amazing. One of them was on to tell you like about me also, like It is about first starting the journey with yourself. Okay. When I was going through coaching, I told you that I was bullied in my school and I used to think that I must be ugly. So whenever I used to think that I'm ugly, I never used to smile. I thought that if I show up my teeth, I'll look more ugly. So I was always shy kind of person. I never used to stand up to my own, very, very timid kind of a person. And those were the days that I remember. Though academically wise, teachers used to love me. I used to be very vocal while giving the answers and all. But apart from that, not much. Only while very limited friends that I used to play with. Otherwise, I was just very silent kid. And after that, over and above that, lot of work that I did outside gave me that feeling that I'm not good enough in my life. I wanted to end my life, that I told you. So when I underwent coaching during the lockdown time, that is the time 4 years back, I realized one very important thing, that it is not always about the circumstances around you. It is not about the people around you. It is always about you, how you perceive things, how you react to things. It is always very important. And that is the time was completely that made that awareness was very powerful. It brought in all the transformation that I was not able to see in my life. Like, I was not ugly. My wife used to tell me that, Yusuf, you're not ugly, you smile, you look good. And I used to think that maybe she's just making it up because she loves me, not thinking that no, it is true. But when I went ahead with coaching, that is the time I realized that it was always about me. I was not able to stand up to my own when I was bullied. I used to think that I am ugly, but nobody told me that I was ugly. It was just the fear that I was holding on to. And these fears are very, very crippling. And you're not able to think outside it. So when I went ahead with coaching, that was an awakening call. I understood how negative belief system is formed inside us. So whenever I'm dealing with my clients now, I just am very, very passionate about understanding what negative thoughts they have in their mind, how I can help them transform and have those positive beliefs in them. Because the way I have turned my life, like, I want them to experience that kind of life now. So recently, I am going ahead with uh, people. One of them is a football player in one very prestigious club here in Oman. Okay, and he's an aspiring to play for the national team now. So I'm
Fantastic.
working with him, and there are like a lot of different type of people that I've dealt with. He was like always having challenge of, and like he was thinking that nobody understands him, a person that wants to grow in his life, but people are not understanding the emotional level that he is into. Some people are very, very emotional about things around them. And when we started this journey, it is around like 4 or 5 weeks now that I have been coaching him, and he has seen remarkable change in his life. One of very remarkable story is one of my client who lives in UK.
Mhm.
She is a color therapist. Okay, and she had this very beautiful, empowering code in herself that she is from another country. She always had dream of going and settling in UK, and that dream came to true when she got an opportunity. She went to UK, and she settled there a few years back. And after she got settled there, she was living her dream with that empowering quote that she had, that this is my dream country and always I wanted to live here. Now what happened was that after like few months, she was told by immigration officials in the mid of the night
Mhm.
that you will have to pack your bags and you'll have to leave your
Wow.
country, leave this country. And she was given no reason, and she was deported, and all world came crashing down for her. So it was kind of very harrowing experience for her. And when she underwent this, she came to understand that she got a lot of negative belief, that
Mhm.
this was kind of very negative experience for her in her life. Okay, but apart from that, that dream of living in UK was very much there in her, inside her, and she kept on
Mhm.
dreaming about it still. Though, despite of the negative quotes, she kept on dreaming about this empowering quote that I want to go and live there still. And miraculously, after a few months, she got a call and she was told again to come and settle in UK. And she went there. The officials told her that they regretted it. They were sorry for whatever happened. It was a mistake. She went there, she is settled now, she's roaming all over the world. She was coached later on by me. But why I'm sharing you this story is that this is the power of the thoughts that we have in our mind.
Absolutely.
And coming across with this kind of wonderful people in my coaching journey has given me a lot of breakthrough moments in my life too. I've learned a lot. So this is
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
amazing journey that we coaches go through. And you will,
Absolutely.
yeah, you will agree
Absolutely,
with
sir.
that, right?
Absolutely. There's so much, so much. Like, I think what I'm fascinated by is the complexity of our thought process, the complexity of how we store our ideas, memories, how we access them. I love to bring, stories, poems, storytelling, colors, numbers, a lot of other things into coaching. Specifically, when the clients have gone to, I don't know what's happening, how do I help? So the structure that I work with specifically with the ICF, we are not allowed to counsel,
Advice.
mentor, add anything. So it becomes a challenge to say gives the how to give client full autonomy while enabling them to move out of something that they don't have an idea of. So and how quickly some of those questions come answers to, and specifically when people tell me that I've never told anyone this, right? It comes with a sense of responsibility to hold on to that. It's very fragile space. I've not told my mom, I've not told my husband, I've not told my wife,
Right,
and I've not told anybody. I want to share it with you that their voice shaking and that vulnerability that they share. Uh, it's a very tough world to hold that space for them and be there when to possibly certain extent nobody else has been there for them. So that space is fascinating, Yusuf. It just
is
is another outside the world experience.
right, absolutely. And
Absolutely
we
changes.
ourselves are very vulnerable at that time. And
Yes,
what I have learned is that, Sunil, being vulnerable is power.
beautiful,
Because
beautiful.
people tell a lot of times that how can I be vulnerable in front of people? But I have told them that being vulnerable is something that I see power in
Absolutely,
myself,
absolutely, sir.
which I have
Absolutely.
learned. Yeah,
And
that's
possibly our space is to say, ask for help. I've loved asking for help after I've gotten into coaching. May not be at 100%, right? So it's much better than what it used to be. So
right,
I kept on thinking, saying, I have to do everything. If I don't do certain things, it feels like I have let myself down. So now I don't see that as a part of my change, part of my life. So I find it a little bit easier to ask for help. Way easier than how I used to find it a year and a half back. And I think I've also understood that sometimes the answers come from very interesting places. So I've never thought some of these answers would have come to me. And sometimes the answers are staring right at your face, but then you only acknowledge it during a coaching session and feels like, oh, wow, it was there. and and in coaching you can't fool yourself, right? So you cannot fool the client, cannot fool themselves, because they
right,
will lose at that point. So when I am the client for somebody else, during the reciprocal spaces, you cannot fool anyone else, because you are being most honest with yourself at that point. And whatever said and done, those are most powerful conversations you've ever had. So
right.
I love coaching as much as I love poetry, but possibly I love poetry more.
Absolutely. That is the beautiful aspect of what is the
Yes.
power of words that we have.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
when you were telling me
Mm.
about one last thing that I would like to tell about taking help, I just before we started a podcast, maybe half an hour back, I received one client call. Possibly this client was just trying to call me from last 1 month with a stigma that how can I go ahead with consultation sessions, or how can it become, she was thinking that it is counseling.
Mm.
Okay, and what I would tell to people that I'm going through counseling with that stigma attached.
Taboo,
Okay,
stigma. Yeah.
yeah. So I told her that, see, it is not counseling. We life coaches, people take pride in telling that I am associated with a lifestyle coach. And we coaches are forward thinkers. This is the message that I would like to pass to the audience, that we are always forward focused. We're not digging in your past. We're not interested much of your past. We're always focused on your outcomes in your goals that you want to achieve in your life. We want to remove the clutter in your life, like Dolby stereo system, where a lot of sound is removed and you hear crystal clear sound. That is what we coaches are doing, right? And we want to give you that clarity of your life. That is it. And people take pride in telling that right now, the modern era is such that everyone likes to be associated with lifestyle coaches. They want to enhance their
Yeah,
mindset.
absolutely.
There is no stigma attached. It is always good to enhance your mindset. It is the beautiful
Absolutely.
journey which we coaches have undergone through. And I'll recommend, if each and everyone goes through this journey, this world would be a beautiful place.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you hit the
Yeah,
nail on the head in terms of, everybody needs coaching, and
it
there is no need for any other stigmatization of coaching, um, or of, say, counseling. I think if you need help, you need help, right? So
right,
you have to answer certain calls that life is giving you, your body is giving you. And I think being aware of what's happening in life, in your own life, in your own universes, is a fascinating space. It's a beautiful thing to be aware of,
right.
and from there, I think both of us coaches will ask you to find a coach. It may not be us. If it's us, then it's fantastic. But
Absolutely.
do look at a coach. Your life will definitely change. And I always tell people that it's an investment. They ask me, how much is it going to cost us? It depends on how much are you ready to invest, right? So
Right.
one small change can actually make a huge thing. So it's like that one small leap for Armstrong was a giant leap for mankind. So that's how
Right.
coaching is, right? So Yusuf, we are almost at the end of our first episode. I'd say put it at first episode. It's been a
Right.
fascinating conversation with you. I'm sure there are more conversations, more poems, more things to talk about. Uh, so, any pausing thoughts or closing thoughts for today's session?
I already said that come forward, take help, as Sunil said. It is always good to enhance your mindset. This only a small shift can change everything around you. Everything
Absolutely.
around you. Even a 1 degree shift in your mindset can bring a huge transformation which even you cannot imagine. We have gone through it.
We've
We are
gone through
living
it.
it.
We live to tell the tale. So, a
Right.
lot of things sometimes we are not able to share because of the client coach confidentiality. We cannot reach that. But the transformations, the energy shifts that we have seen in that virtual rooms, in-person rooms, it's a
Absolutely.
privilege and joy of the highest order to be there.
Right. And thank
Absolutely.
you
So
very much for
thanks.
having me. It was lovely interacting with you. Always it has
Absolutely,
been.
absolutely, absolutely. And it continues to be, it will continue to be. So more
It will
episodes,
continue.
more this thing. So we'll get more people from Oman, India to be a part of a multi podcast kind of a crew. Sometimes we'll read our poems, sometimes we'll share our stories. We'll keep it as lively as possible. So it's been fun, Yusuf, as always. So, but for now, we pause this and come back again. Thank you.
Thank you.